Hey everybody, welcome to Adobe Live. I just realized that was the wrong intro video. We're not designing t-shirts today. That's the last stream I did with Dale. Whoops. Welcome to Adobe Live. Let's get everything started here. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. We would also like to pay respects to our elders past and present. That is what's called an acknowledgement of country. If you're not from Australia, Johanna's going to share some useful links if you want to check out and learn more about that. I'm here today with our good friend, Dale Bagini. Dale, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Flynn. Had me worried there for a second.
Yeah, so just a little bit of a background is I was telling Dale, got up nice and early today, spent about an hour setting the stream up, getting everything right. And then about 10 minutes before I connected with Dale, my lovely daughter found the power switch, which powers everything in this room, turned everything off, and wouldn't you know it, I didn't save any of my work. So, so that's what happened this morning.
Is that why we had the wrong intro title?
That's why we had the wrong intro, because I hadn't updated it. Whoops. Save your work, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing you're going to learn today. We're gonna have a quick look at some of Dale's work before we get started, in case you're not familiar. But Dale, what have you been up to since you've last been on the stream? We've had Christmas, New Year, all that stuff. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm feeling good. I feel like it's a new year. Trying to see all the positive in this year before it gets out of hand again. But just been busy working and in my little studio, just ignoring the world, really, just doing my work and staying as busy as possible.
That's the way to be. What's up, everybody in chat? Some familiar faces. We got D, Mercure. Hey, Caitlin, how you going? We got Steve. We got Johanna looking after us today. Awesome crew. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to be here for a little bit under an hour, so we're going to get stuck into it. So we might start by just checking out some of your work, maybe your Instagram or over on Behance or something like that. We'll jump over to your desktop when you're ready.
Cool.
And we'll show some of your amazing work. So here we are. Yeah, some of your work on Behance. Maybe pick one or two. We'll have a look.
All right, cool. So I was going to show you my website, but that's currently down at the moment for whatever reason. So it works straight off. Yeah, it works straight from Behance. So it's all the same stuff. But I've got a bunch of just digital artworks that I work on. I know we're talking about album covers today, but we had a quick chat about what makes an album cover, and I think that's subject to, I guess, the band's wants and needs. But we're going to stick to illustrative stuff. I wanted to just show you some of the digital art that I do. Mainly is black and white vector stuff. We're going to do this in Photoshop today and work in some colors as well. Overall, it's just it's going to be a bit of an overview of kind of composition and stuff, and most of my art is composed to kind of be framed and ready for merch or posters or that sort of stuff. So it's always in this kind of format, most of what I do. Although I mix it up as per the brief. If a client needs something in particular, I'm going straight for it. But you can check out all the stuff I do on my website. Instagram is probably the most frequently updated with just like samples, works in progress and stuff. So you can probably get a better look at how I work, or what I work with and things like that. So cool. I think we'll jump straight into it.
Awesome, let's do it. So we were chatting about that. So we're going to be using Photoshop today. I know you switch between the two. You switch between Illustrator and Photoshop. We've had you on streams using Illustrator. Today we're going to be jumping into Photoshop. Well, today and tomorrow. So this is a two-part stream. And we were chatting about album artwork. So the idea of, how would you go about creating it? And we were talking about, there's a lot of photography involved, digital kind of manipulation sort of stuff, but you got to think about typography, composition and stuff. We're going to take an illustrative view today.
So I think we're gonna stick to the illustrative stuff. Like I said, I feel like a lot of album art today, when I look at it, there's a lot of just simple, really nice photography shot stuff. But I've always been a fan of obviously illustration and certain. Well, I'm obviously into a lot of heavier music and kind of hip hop stuff. So I've just picked a little bit of a handful here to just like have a look at like how illustrations works like really well as album covers, but also talk about how styles change. So like back in the 80s, it was like this Metallica thing. It was really like over the top with the colors and, you know, like really, I guess, what's the word? It's kind of like futuristic looking, but back in the 80s, it had heaps of gradients, heaps of these vibrant colors and stuff, which is crazy because now I see a lot of this Metallica style photoshopping, I guess, artworks onto shirts and stuff. And I'm a fan of it. I still like it. I think it has its place, but it's just funny how over the years it's changed so much. But then you've got like the Derek Riggs stuff for Iron Maiden and the Eddie stuff that he did, and just how beautiful the illustrations were. Like, I mean, it's a zombie looking dude, but it was really detailed. It's a lot of color, a lot of like depth in it, but I just like how illustration can really own an album cover. And the difference in how typography has changed over, like in the 80s, it was always really big and, you know, in your face. And then you can see this Art vs. Science and Queens of the Stone Age, you can almost miss where the band names are on them, if you know what I mean. It's changed so dramatically, but they're still really beautiful pieces as well. So, yeah, I think considering the typography is just as important as the illustration or the artwork itself. So yeah, I'm just going to go through the little the same kind of concept we always go through, like the conceptual stage, a bit of a refined stage, and then talk about maybe coming up with a name with the chat, and yeah, let's get it happening.
Awesome. All right, let's do it. So yeah, just ask questions as we're going along, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to throw them in as we keep our pace going. It's always not a ton of time to get creative for the guests, but yeah, I'll definitely throw the questions in. So let us know. So you've got like a grid set up here.
Yeah. So this is I'm just gonna have a quick talk about, like, whenever I create artworks, obviously I always want to know where they're going and what it's being presented on. So we know this is going to be an album cover, so obviously it's going to be most likely it's going to be square. So I've just got my blue grid here is just the center lines and I guess the artwork edge, and then my red line is like just a bit of bleed that I can keep in consideration for print purposes, I guess. So yeah, I've just created them with just the I don't necessarily use the rulers because the rulers tend to, when you're drawing in Photoshop, I'll just quickly show you. I don't know if anyone else notices this, but when you're drawing in Photoshop with the rulers, it can sometimes it snaps to the line.
Right.
And I know you can turn it off, but I just rather create my guides from scratch, so I'll just draw them in and set a little guide layer here that I can turn on and off just as I go. But I always want the center line and stuff so we can work on a uniform piece here.
Yeah, cool.
Right,
I noticed a lot of your artwork doesn't bleed over the edge, and you were talking about that, like how it's kind of locked up in the middle. Is that so that you can more easily apply it to different dimensions and shapes and things like that?
Yeah, I think it's become habit now. Like I always try to frame my artworks, whether it's in like a circle or like a square shape. I always want it to kind of live independently. I guess that's just my art style, but I know a lot of guys there are artists out there that are doing full bleed, poster prints and stuff like that, where it's really intricate. But I guess the downfall of that, in my opinion, would be that it's only ever going to be on a poster. Like it won't always look good if you tried to put it in sticker format or t-shirt format. So yeah, trying to keep my art as versatile as possible, I guess.
Cool.
So yeah, I've got a few little concepts. So we're sticking with the kind of rock theme. That's just that's the genre I prefer. So I've just I've kept this little skull format also because we all know that if anyone hasn't seen it, I like drawing skulls a lot. So there's always time for skulls in everything that I do. It doesn't matter what I'm working on.
Yeah.
But I'll just create a few little like thumbnails, I guess. Like we're gonna pretend we're dealing with a real time band here. We don't have a name or an album title, so we're just gonna work on just placeholder stuff at the moment.
Cool.
Okay. So all I'm going to do is start creating these little thumbnails that I can submit to client, I guess. And like I said, the main things that I'd be considering is the type layout. So you can see I've got one format where it's kind of small, kind of like the art versus science. This one's kind of got more of that like a 80s kind of 80s 90s vibe, where it's like a big band name, smaller album title, sorry, and then just this one's kind of like a hybrid of the two, where it's big band name and like really like subtle album title, just going with this kind of like skull and flowers kind of thing. That we don't really have a brief. This is all like off the cuff. So if anyone wants to put something in chat that they might want to see included,
cool,
then please do. So
we had a question from chat. Sorry, how many concepts or thumbnails would you usually create per project, and does it stay the same each time? Like, do you have a rule? You're like, yeah, six is it, or
I feel like six is a good number because it sits on the page nicely. Also, and I think if you start giving like too many, people can tend to get overwhelmed with ideas, and then you kind of shoot yourself in the foot, because then they start saying, hey, we like these flowers, but we like this skull and we like this layout, and it kind of gives them too many options, and it's not just overwhelming for them, but it can be for you. Unless you're really comfortable with the concepts you can come up with and know that you can integrate them, I'd stick to kind of 6. Sometimes I've done 2 concepts, because that's kind of all I thought it needed. There wasn't room for like a whole heap of them, but 6 is probably the max for thumbnails.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's thumbnails are definitely, this is the level of detail you'd look at. I'd probably do like some descriptive notes to let them know, like flower. Oh, there's a bit of lag. What's going on here? Okay. So I just do little notes and stuff so they can see what exactly is going on, and in case they can't make it out. Something's going on there. There's a little bit of lag. But yeah, so it'll have notes. We'd send this off, and then they'd give us a pick. We're going to work on this one today. I kind of just like the layout and the composition of it. So I'd just start refining that artwork by either using, like I've said in a few of my other streams, sometimes I might use some stock photography or some reference material and stuff like that, and then I'd start composing it to get more of a refined look, and then start fitting this in and seeing how it all come together as an album cover, I guess. Like, so things I would consider are the size of the artwork as well. So this is so does it look better as a smaller kind of like tiny little piece in the middle? Like, how big should the text, the band name and the album title be? I kind of like, again, this is just personal preference for how I think it would look nice. I would probably go for smaller in the middle, but it can also, I think, like we said, my artwork style, I guess, can lend to go bigger or smaller without, I guess, changing the kind of the overall feel. It looks just as good this big with maybe the band name tucked in behind, and a little bit of this over the top of the title could look cool as well. you could probably submit them kind of changes for your refined stage, like have a few variants of your refined artwork in a layout concept more than content. So, think about with the text layer, with the album title. I'll just make another one. Oops. Just do some, maybe you want to do some like different variants of how big the type could be and like kind of shapes it can be. So I just use this warp tool and create like new kind of Metallica-esque type ideas. And yeah, I'd think about things like that, start sending off some ideas where it's smaller artwork, bigger typography, or just like a few options to kind of let them see that, yeah, we've got this concept together now. We know that this is going to be our artwork, but because I think the type is just as equally as important in any kind of artwork. Like you can either make or break the artwork.
Yeah.
So being conscious and giving them options is always a good idea. So I'd make sure definitely that I've got a few like size and layout ideas to send over to them.
Yeah.
And that refined layer is literally just I would just use you can use any brush. I would generally just use the hard round pressure size and just like go really loosely, like not spend a lot of time on it, but at least give them a bit more of a clearer view of that that initial sketch that you worked on. And then basically I guess it's from that point is where then you could do like a really clean refined version where they might say they don't want the eyes in there, or they might want this flower to be let's say a sunflower, or it could be we want 2 flowers out of the top. We don't want the hands to be like so dark looking. Maybe we can make them more feminine or skeleton, things like that. So yeah, it's at that point you'd come back and start thinking and considering all those kind of the variables of the design. So give them one more chance to kind of, I guess, play with the design a little bit on their end, and then we get to do the draw. We would ink it from there. So I think I'll start inking this just as a to just go through some of the brushes and the layer setup and stuff like this.
Cool.
But I feel like if chat wants to jump on board to think about a band name or an album title,
okay,
maybe they can help us out with that. And like I said, if you think it should be a different flower or there should be any changes, they can work on that. But I'm gonna work on this under the precedent that it is approved and they like it.
Okay, cool. All right, well let's do that, chat. Let's focus on band name first. I think that's our most important and quite fun thing. So we're thinking like it's kind of like rock, like it's kind of like thinking around kind of Iron Maiden kind of style things. Telescope casual. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, this is like the most fun
Telescope
thing.
Casual.
It's always funny to hear.
I don't mind that.
That's quite cool. So yeah, let us know in chat. And let's get some names out there and we'll just kind of see how we go. It's pretty cool. You ever hear like something, you're having a conversation with someone and you hear something like, and you're like, oh man, that would make a really good band name.
You know what? It's funny. I always think about that. Like, everyone wants to start a clothing brand, and you're like, I just want something really cool. And you hear some brands, and you're like, how did they come up with that? Like Telescope Casual, that's pretty cool. Don't be surprised if I just take that and run with it.
Super cool. We got Death Rose. That's cool.
Death Rose. That makes sense. Yeah,
makes sense. Very cool. Let us know in chat. We'll just throw them in chat, and we'll kind of go through them when we get a whole bunch through and feel like everyone's had their say.
Yeah, And I'm just gonna add. So I generally this process, well, especially the refine process. It's usually I do usually draw the thing with the symmetry tool in place, and you can see that. I mean, it is very symmetrical, but most of the time with this the finished art, I'll always draw it individual. We'll draw the whole thing without the symmetry, just so that we can add a few little, like, the teeth. Yeah, they look fine, but maybe we don't want as many teeth, and this way, I know where all the teeth live, but I can get rid of some on that side. You know, sorry if I go quiet. I'm just trying to draw as steady as I can because there's a little bit of lag.
Cool. You're using a Wacom.
So,
I think we went through this last time, but for those that don't know, Dale is working on
yeah,
what looks like a giant TV. If you if you check out his Instagram, always gets comments on it. It's like, oh my god, like, is that photoshopped? Is it actually that big? He is. He's working on a really big one. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's a Wacom Cintiq. It's a 32-inch screen, so it is like working on a TV, literally. But also working at that scale, it makes getting details and stuff really easy. So
you can kind of tell from the scaling chat, like if you see how small in relation to some of the other streams, you might see that the dock and the layers and everything are that's the difference in scale. Like usually
it's pretty gnarly.
It's pretty crazy. But for Dale, obviously it's actual size, but he just has so much screen real estate to play with. We've got some great names in here. I'll start rattling a few off.
Right.
Let's see, Metal Monkeys, Flynn and Tonic.
I don't mind that one, yeah.
I like it. I might keep that in my back pocket. Thanks, Wayne. That sounds like a Snoop Dogg song if he was singing about a white guy from Australia. Psycho Aliens. We got some context on Telescope Casual. Some buddies of Julian's saw it on a lawn chair, and we always said it would be a great band name. I like that. You had that in your back pocket, didn't you? You were ready to roll with Telescope Casual. That's great.
Maybe they probably have a band, and they might just take this artwork as well.
Skull and Crossfire, Hellbenders, Daisies and Tea for Satan, Boneyard Banditos, Cranium Blush, Zombie Death Punch. I don't know why I like that so much. That's awesome.
That's because zombies are the best. Yeah.
Calcium Deposit.
Sounds a little bit gross, but also very, very, very metal. Yeah.
That's good. You guys are doing a great job. Wow. These are really good. I love it. That's so good.
And we'll probably work on typography tomorrow, but today I just want to get through like some of the detail on this and stuff. But this is all like, so I'm using the same brush for everything. It's all the hard round pressure size. Obviously it works off. It's probably not going to work as good if you're using a mouse. It works off the pressure sensitivity of the tablet, or the pen.
Yeah. What's the pressure sensitivity that you work at? Like in terms of scale, is it like around 50%, or do you change it around a lot? Do you have like a fixed kind of ratio?
No, the actual settings are all, the brush settings in Photoshop are all just standard. And I just run it on a firm, so on the tablet you can set the firmness of the touch, I guess, or the pressure. So I need to press like hard before it's actual a really hard line, if that makes sense. So yeah, to get it to that point, I'm pressing really hard. Yeah, as in terms of the actual brush itself, it's all just standard settings from Photoshop.
Cool.
Yeah, just go through, and like I said, I do have that symmetry off now, so that obviously I can get some difference in some of the line work on either side, because
Mm.
a skull isn't always symmetrical. Well, actually, I don't think it really is. But yeah, just flying through this.
Yeah, it's cool. So I will mention, yeah, just if you missed the start, this is part one of a 2-part series. So we'll be back tomorrow, a little bit later in the day actually. We're back at 11 a.m. tomorrow. But basically, we're the last stream of the day for Adobe Live. So you can check out the schedule if you just have a look at the Adobe Live schedule. We're always last. So whenever the US stream finishes, we'll be picking it up. So yeah, it's 11 a.m. here in Australia. I think that
But you
ends
know
up
what they
being
say,
like
Flynn?
2:30 a.m. or something in on the west coast of the US. What do they say?
They saved the best till last, right?
Oh, that's right.
It's me.
That's so true. That's so true. A couple more great names: Crypt Caper Convicts. It's very Australian appropriate.
That's good. Yeah, yeah.
Bones and Roses.
Mm-hmm.
Justice for Liberace. Doom Pants. Stranger Strings. Skull Cull.
Oh, that's cool.
Skull Cull. There's
like
got to
that.
be a band called Skull Cull out there somewhere already. That sounds very appropriate. Grave Garden. Man, these are great. I like Grave Garden because
Grave Garden's cool.
with the floral, like with the flower on there, that's also very appropriate.
I like the strangest. What was it? Strangest.
Stranger Strings.
Stranger Strings. I was just like, all I could just think about was things. But yes, I like Stranger Strings.
Very cool. Good job, chat.
They're really good. It was too early for us to think of one. Sorry.
We'll just crowdsource.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. Thank you. Always fun when we get like a lot of comments from chat. So thanks for jumping in, guys. That's super cool. We'll figure one out. I don't know, soonish. But no rush on that if you want to throw some more in. So this part of the line work, like I know some people might use blue lines, but we're out to the inking part, right? I noticed that you kind of grey stuff out.
Yeah, so that's just I've knocked my original reference sketch, we'll call it, to like just all the way down, just so it's not too distracting. But yeah, I usually would do the blue line and do the kind of build up of that. But I think sometimes if I'm set in my ways and I know what the direction I really want to take it, then I just go straight in with the black.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's a little bit rough still, but I guess this is because if there's some minor changes, I don't want to feel like I committed too much to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the intention of getting the inking done and sending this over kind of to a client at some stage. So that's what you mean by like spending too much time in the detail. You want it to be enough that the client and for our case chat to kind of like check out, see where it's going, but not so much that you're sort of sweating the small stuff. Is that the balance you're trying
exactly.
to?
Yeah, so I want it to be like, so they can look at it and go, oh yeah, wow, we love it, like keep going, that's exactly what we want. Or they can go, hey, we've got some quick changes and I know I basically haven't committed to this being the final line work.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't stress about like putting all the all these sorts of details that I'll do, like all in the shading and stuff like that. I wouldn't worry about that at this point. That'll kind of happen, I guess, after it's been approved. But yeah, the line work's important too, because they kind of like, people don't really know what they want until they see what they don't want. So I'm a strong believer in like keeping an open mind with that sort of stuff.
Cool.
So make sure that I just kind of leave it with enough like flex in it that if I need to make some changes, I can. Oops. There is a little bit of lag on my side. I don't know if it's coming through, but
A little bit, but only a tiny bit. You're probably feeling it a lot more as you're going along. Maybe we're asking a lot.
nah.
It's always fun when we're adding streaming stuff.
It's probably just the computer catching up from being so hot the last few days here.
That's true. So for those outside of Australia, yesterday was our hottest Australia day in like 45 years or 65 years or something like that. It was 36 degrees here. I think it got to like 42 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I think it was 40 where I was out here out west.
So that, for our American friends, is 106 degrees Fahrenheit. That was our day yesterday.
That sounds gnarly when you say it in the hundreds.
It really does. It really does. So yeah, it was hot. Yeah, my PC actually crashed a bunch of times because it was just so hot in the office. It just went, nah, I'm done. I'm out.
Like I said, we've had like rolling blackouts. Like, it's just like we're not ready for it.
Yep.
Alright. So I'm fully aware that if I was to do this in Symmetry, we probably would have been done by now. But I think it's nice to have like that bit of difference in each of the line work, even the line weight that happens. Like, it's nice that it feels like a bit more natural opposed to like a really really refined tight drawing. I mean, a lot of my art, or a heap of the art I do, I try to keep it really clean and really like sharp lines and stuff, but there's something really nice about having a few little like lines that don't match up, or they don't finish entirely. Just depends on the artwork. I feel like with an album cover or a kind of this genre of music, you'd like to be a little bit looser and a little bit what's the word? A bit more natural.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's the thing with like a lot of the tools like that, like is when, and I guess that must come with experience, right? Like when to use something like the Symmetry tool. Like, it's great shortcut to use. Like, I know so many, we've used it a lot on Adobe Live. I know you've used it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess experience will teach you like when to use it and when not to, with just like a lot of tools out there.
Yeah, I definitely think it's handy, especially in that concept stage, or if you're pressed for time for whatever reason. Like, it's definitely a time tool.
Yeah.
I think and depending on the artwork, it can get a little bit it looks a little bit lazy sometimes, just like solely on that.
We've got some more crazy names. This is going to be really hard. We were talking about like presenting to the client like 6 options, because otherwise you can get overwhelmed. We've got like 50 like names. It's crazy. I'll run off a couple more.
That's a good thing. Go
it is a good thing. It's great. No, chat, you're awesome. Tequila Priestess, which I really like. Beef Horror.
Beef Horror.
Hot Skull. Danger Frocks. Toxic Wombat Fluid. We all go to 11.
Toxic Wombat Fluid.
Rabid.
Sounds horrible.
Rabid Rosellas. Man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, you guys.
Is there a way we can utilize some of those ideas as, maybe if it's not the band name, it can be one of the album name? Is that like, does that work, or is it?
I'm sure that works.
We're gonna make it work. We're just gonna go ahead and do it.
That's cool. Let us know if you do think that there's. So we've got the band name. We've done that. If you guys want to let us know, if you want to throw in any ideas for the album, we can use what we've got here. But if you do have anything specific that you think might be a cool album name, feel free, throw it in. We've got 20 minutes left, so we'll make a decision. We'll make a decision in a couple of minutes, like maybe 5 minutes or something. We're in no rush with that. But before the end of this stream, we will have a band name. We'll have the inking done.
Yep.
And we'll have an album name as well. And however far we get today, we're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow.
Exactly.
We've got a question. Got a question from Caitlin. How do you go about marketing yourself for album art to potential bands?
Oh, that's I think that would just come with like time and experience with, like, I guess, dealing with bands. I personally, like, whenever I've been approached by a band, it's just been out of, like, I guess, like, they've found me through the right channels, I guess, like my Instagram and stuff like that. And it's a little bit harder for me to say because I'm a bit further into my career than maybe most people are that want to get into it. So it's kind of word of mouth for me. But I would just I do a heap of, like, album artwork for fictitious bands like this, and create like a Behance where you can kind of showcase it and show them that you've got the eye for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they don't care if it's a real band or not. I mean, it helps if you've done work for, like, real bands, of course, but not everyone has a foot in the door that easy, I guess. So yeah, always, like, I think that's with everything. Like, I can't remember who I heard say it, but they were like, do more of the work, or, like, present more of the work that you would like to do. So, like, if you want to do more tattoo work, you'd obviously go and start doing a heap of tattoo designs and stuff like that, and then more people will see that that's your flavor or that's your style, and they'll automatically think of you. Where if you've got a mixed bag of styles and I guess preferences, it's probably a little bit harder for people to hone in on just that one style you do.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Funnily enough, we were chatting a little bit about that with Jeremy Lord, who is in chat, our mutual friend. So hello, Jeremy. Nice to have you here.
Jeremy, the man.
We did a stream with him last week. We chatted a little bit about that sort of stuff, like do the work that you want people, you want the kind of clients for. That's what you want to fill your portfolio with, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of how I established. So it was always like just doing, work for, like, that was tattoo inspired or, like, skate related, and I just started, like, helping tattooers, like, digitize their logos or things like that, and then it kind of led into doing shop shirts or things like that. And I think that's the way it should be, like a kind of a natural, like, I guess, a transition into that world.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely, but definitely market yourself, like, through the right channels. I think Behance is probably still one of the best for real world clients to be looking at, because I know a lot of my what are they called? My inquiries are through the the Behance contact page. Really?
I would have thought Instagram.
Yeah. No, most of the time it comes through as like I said, my website runs through Behance, and it's got like a inquiry form, and a lot of it comes through there, which is good, because if Instagram blows up overnight and no one can use it, at least I know people can find me elsewhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, cool. I didn't notice that the flower was, like, coming out of the skull until you put the black line. I thought it was kind of sitting on the top. So that's quite cool.
This is tried to integrate it a little bit.
Jeremy has a question in chat. Do you have to like the music of the band to do their cover?
I would want to like it, because I'd feel like you'd create a better piece.
Mm.
But I think sometimes it's just nice to create. So it wouldn't phase me if it was, some a genre that I didn't like. I won't name any in case I offend anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you need to be their biggest fan. I think you'd create a better artwork if you were their biggest fan because it would be an honor to do it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got so many great names. I don't know what to do with this. As we were talking about, like, just this, like, there's so many options. We've got where Dancing with Dingoes, Road to Rosella, Ruination, Pneumatic Sanity. This is crazy. Oh, what's up? Alex Lahore's in the chat, by the way. Hey, what's up, Alex? Nice to have you.
All the OGs are in there. Look at that.
Oh, crew's here. It's great.
Is there a way? Can we do a poll? Is a poll a possibility? Like, can we pick two and?
Yeah, I think why don't we'll get down to two for each. So we'll kind of. Did anything jump out to you? I think you need to be the judge here a little bit. Do you remember?
I like the Stranger Strings.
Yeah, that came up.
Like that. It got me off the bat there.
I mean, there's obviously too many for you to remember, but let's pick one that, like, kind of another one that jumped out to you, or one that you do remember.
Okay.
If you want, I can run through a bunch again. But there's so many.
Do a real quick run through, and when one hits that feels right, I'm gonna say yes.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna start my rap career. Just start here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Telescope Casual, Death Rose, Metal Monkeys, Flynn and Tonic, Psycho Alien, Skull and Crossfire, Daisies and Tea for Satan, Hellbenders, Boneyard Bandidos, Cranium Blush, I missed that one, Zombie Death Punch, Calcium Deposit, Crypt Caper Convicts, Bones and Roses, Justice for Libres, Doom Pants, Stranger Things, Skull Cull, Grave Garden, Isle of Langerhans Infection, Tequila Priestess, Beef Horror, Hot Skull, Danger Frox, Toxic Wombat Fluid, We All Go to 11, Rabid Rosellas, Alex Lahore's in chat. No, that's not a band name. Pneumatic Sanity, Road to Rosella, Ruination, Dancing with Dingoes, and then I think we get over to album. So, did anything pop out? We've got Stranger Strings. We need one more.
I feel like Cranium Blush sounds really appropriate.
Okay, cool.
And I feel like there was one there that sounded like, was it Road to, what was it? Road to, I heard Road to something, or did I make that up?
I'm having a look through. Road to Rosella Ruination.
Yeah, see, that sounds like an album name.
Right.
More than the band name. Or that's my opinion. That's just my opinion, so.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's good. All right, so we've got Stranger Strings and Cranium Blush for the album band name. I think got it down to those two.
Yeah, I like those two.
We're happy.
I mean, they're all really good. Yeah.
And then Road to Rosella Ruination, do you think? Is that our...
Yeah, I kind of vibe that. I don't know why.
Cool. I like it. How long we got left? We got 10 minutes left. Johanna, I'm going to ask you, do you want to do a quick straw poll between Stranger Strings and Cranium Blush? And we'll give everyone the next 5 minutes or so to... she'll drop that in chat, so give her a minute or two to create that. She'll drop a link there. One vote, pick which one you want, and we'll end up. We've got our band name.
Yeah.
We'll have our album name. I don't think we've had so much participation ever. I think there's something about music, right? Like you can go really wild.
Yeah.
You can go really wild with it, and you guys just took it and ran with it, which was super cool.
No, it's really good. It makes our job easier too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good place with it in terms of kind of like the detail level I would want to go to right now in this.
Yep.
Just my little.
Yeah, cool. And if anyone does have any questions just before, like, we've got about, 10 minutes left. So if you do have any questions about anything you've seen today or any questions for Dale, we'll try and get one or two in if they pop up in chat. Mitchell said in chat, Dale is realist, always willing to help and inspire, by far my biggest influence. That's lovely to say.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you.
There's a whole bunch of really good extra names down there that popped up, but we will have to move on. We are out of time. Some great names, you guys. Super cool. Speaking of music, what have I done here? Let's kick this back in. It would have been nice to play some Iron Maiden, but I couldn't get the rights, so can you imagine what that would cost? That'd be crazy.
Oh, sorry, Flynn. I'm just doing these last little tiny bits of details.
No, you're right, man. That's cool. Festus says, hands are really hard to draw and yours are great, Dale.
Oh, thank you. They're definitely from a reference, let me tell you that, because drawing hands are definitely one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, for sure. And Caitlin says, Dale, you're making this look so effortless.
You know what? Sometimes you guys are too nice, and I don't even know what to say because I'm over here, lucky my head's facing down because I'm gonna go red. But thank you.
No, you guys are great. Yeah, we did a great session at some point towards the end of last year, which we focused like completely on drawing from reference. You can find it over at our Adobe Live channel. It'll be there in YouTube if you just search for the Dale episodes. As relevant then as it is now. And Dale had a couple of examples. I think we had a figure, like a physical figure that Dale had, riding a Wacom pen. And that was really cool. There was lots and lots of questions about that. Lots of questions about like drawing from reference, and Dale went into detail about drawing from reference, whether it's like something 2D that you find online or like drawing from a reference that's like a picture or even something physical like that, and how it can really help. So we spent a lot of time chatting about that if you want to learn more about drawing from reference, because we don't have time to get into it today.
Yeah, that was fun actually.
Sarah asks, I fail at hands regularly. Any tips?
I would just keep tracing hands for as long as you can until you feel confident. I think there's no shame in exactly what we just spoke about, like using reference to help you better your art. I definitely think maybe mine they look okay and they do the job, but I think I try to make sure the hands aren't the feature, if that makes sense. Like I try to distract with a massive skull and a rose to, try to take your mind off the fact that something might not be in scale or doing the right thing, but it works for me.
Yeah. That's cool. I like it. I didn't actually see who typed it, but I'm going to assume it was Festus who threw down Road to Rosella Ruination. I'm just going to go out on a limb because we do get visited by the Rosellas occasionally. It's actually been raining, so I'm surprised they haven't come back. I'm sure as soon as it stops raining here, they'll all be back. They like to bathe in the gutters about a meter from where my microphone is, so it's always a nice little.
At least they're cute birds. We just get visited by like magpies and Indian minor birds.
Swoopy boys.
Yeah.
Cool. As we get towards the last little bit, I'll just remind you guys that, we are back tomorrow with Dale. So in part 2 of this series, we're going to get stuck into the typography, probably a little bit of color, I assume, Dale. Which is always really interesting, like how Dale kind of makes the type his own. So don't miss that if you're interested in picking up some of those skills. Again, makes it look very effortless. There's a couple of cool tricks and tips in there that you could just pick up and use yourself as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's 11 a.m. Tomorrow, which is Thursday here in Sydney, because we're in the future. I think in the US that'll be a Wednesday afternoon. Join us. You guys have been great. Lots of fun today.
Yeah, it's been good. Been really good, actually.
So Johanna, how did we end up with that straw poll? I think we'll maybe close that now, and we'll see what our band name, is confirmed to be. Was it Stranger Strings or Cranium Blush? I think were the options.
Yeah.
Both cool.
Oh, I forgot this guy.
This is really cool. When I saw it says album title, it almost like meshes really well in with the typography as well, which I thought was quite cool. Like it almost looks like the L in title.
That was definitely purpose built.
Comment in chat, that looks amazing. Love the different line weights. Yeah, so that's all. We were talking about that pressure sensitivity before, and you keep it pretty standard on Photoshop, but you do like have a little bit of changes with the Wacom pen that you're using to get those different weights, like the pressure sensitivity and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it really helps. Like I know there a lot of people do they're still creating with the mouse and stuff, so it blows me away that there's so many artists out there doing it without a tablet of any sort. But it helps like quite dramatically, especially like when it's working good and not got lag. It's great. But it's just like it's so nice to work at such a large scale as well.
Yeah.
I'll put a post up today of this work in progress, and you can see the scale that it's been working at. It's really good.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think we are pretty set for the detail for today.
Awesome.
Then tomorrow we can hopefully there'll be a crew in chat that can help us wrap up the color work, and I can just go through how I like to set up my colors and layers and things like that.
Awesome.
But yeah,
color is always like such a difficult thing, so yeah, definitely join us for that. But hey, we're out of time. Man, that's incredible what you've done.
Oh, there you go.
What you've done through that time.
I think it's a pretty solid start. Couldn't do it without the chat or you, Flynn, so thank you.
Go chat. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I'll jump over to our big heads now. So here we are to say our goodbyes. Thank you so much again. Check out Dale's Instagram. We'll throw a link down there in chat. Check that out. Thank you so much. This has been amazing, like getting so many great ideas. It's super great. Some really fun stuff in there. I think we ended up with, Johanna has told me, Cranium Blush. So
Cranium Blush. I'm just going to write it down somewhere anywhere.
I'm
in a studio.
I can send it to you so we make sure we get it right.
All right, Cranium Blush.
So we're going to finish this off.
Cool.
we're going to finish this off tomorrow. Gonna have a good time again there. And yeah, as always, Dale, thank you so much for joining me and joining us. And we hope we can see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
See you guys.